Hello, everyone. This is Rick with Cybersecurity and IT Professional Podcast, where industry leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because, well, hackers never sleep. So let's get to it. Amber, I'm glad to have you on. Question number one, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Amber Schroader, and I'm the CEO and founder at Peregrine Corporation, and we're a digital forensic technology company.
Amber, I'm going to throw you for a loop here. This isn't one of the questions, but what is your Twitter handle?
I am Ginger Wonder Mom because I love Wonder Woman.
Love it. Love it. I love always pointing out the fun facts about people. Question number two, what's the best thing about being a cyber professional?
I think that every day is interesting in what you're doing. You're never stuck into doing the exact same thing every day, like looking at spreadsheets every day. It's different, and it's nice to have the diversity.
Sweet. Question number three. I hear from other industry leaders that cybersecurity is a top concern. What does that mean to you?
For me right now, especially with our current pandemic, it means that there is a ton of new digital evidence being generated, and our digital fingerprints got much larger in 2020 than they have in any other year because everyone is doing something online.
That's not wrong. I mean, I'm online 24/7 almost. So question number four.
Nope, we have a homemade background, so.
Yes. Or recently, just to take that further, I saw somebody who had actually created an active background, and I was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine how much that's opening you up for. I know. So question number four, what piece of insight do you want to share with other cyber experts?
I think the biggest thing that we all forget about, because we're so involved in technology and some of the nerd stuff, we forget that we have to have an imagination to actually be good at our jobs, and actually stepping away and just letting our brain think it through instead of Google and our computers is hugely valuable in cyber, because you need to have that person aspect, the imagination aspect.
Amber, I'm going to throw you for another add-on question. Do you have a story where you used your imagination recently to help in your line of work?
I did when I was learning how to exploit Tinder. I did the practical nature of it on my son when he decided to join when he turned 18, to figure out how it actually worked and to see how data was recorded with it. And that was all through my imagination as I perpetually matched up with him. It was a way to get him off Tinder. He doesn't want to match with his mom. But I used it later when someone was doing intellectual property theft, and they were doing it through the conversations in Tinder. And I wouldn't have been able to do one without the other. So that's all about imagination.
That is amazing. I can't imagine you swiping right or left at all, but that's epic right there.
I always super liked him. That way the algorithm kept sending me back to my son.
Oh man, good for you. Good mom, good parenting right there. So question number five, what other successful cyber professionals like yourself would you like to acknowledge that should be on the podcast?
There's so many. I actually think you should talk to some of the cyber educators. Karen Paulette has done amazing things to really push education for digital forensics into a college environment. She's done some great things. I think you would do well to talk with her. And Chet Hosmer. I think those are two of my top picks. Chet's done well to get Python, so people really think not only is coding cool, but it's practical. You can actually do something with it that's going to make a difference. And so he's created the Python Nation. I think they would both be fantastic to talk to.
Awesome. Educators are definitely where we want to go with this. I think the more we can get those folks on, so we'll definitely get in touch with them. Last question, final question. What is your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
Oh, that's probably the one that was the hardest when I was thinking of your questions. There's so many of the tech things that I like. So I have two. One of them is I use it almost every day, and it's an old school egg timer. And I know you're thinking that is not a piece of technology, but nowadays analog clocks, there are an entire generation that can't read them. So I look at that as a retro piece of technology. And the other one is actually spinning hard drives. Everyone's gone to solid state, and that's kind of the modern one. I'm a huge fan of still having spinning drives. I prefer it when doing my digital forensics because I burned through an SSD in a year. and then lost my machine because I burned out the drive. So I figure I really like spinning drives now. So there's my retro piece.
That's awesome. And the egg timer thing cracks me up. Is it actually shaped like an egg?
No, mine's like the little white one that your mom used to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Oh man. Well, you did it. You answered more than 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best know when to be concise and when to end. Amber, what's your website?
It's paraben.com.
You have 3 minutes left. Is there anything
Oh,
else you want
wow.
to share with our community? I know, and it could be about anything, yourself, the company, or anything you want to talk about.
Well, I think the big one is for those of you who are in cyber but don't think of digital forensics, and not to be literal, being a redhead myself, I know we're like the redheaded stepchild of the cybersecurity space, but it's one of those that you can actually get a better perspective, I think, on security when you look at what the forensic impact is of it. I actually recently just finished a blog/webinar on that very aspect of looking at smartphone security from a digital forensic perspective. So what are the artifacts and pieces left behind, and how are they going to affect your data based on your security choices? And if you don't look, you'll never know what you should be adjusting. And I think that's a good skill to have some cyber people maybe pick up and say, I should learn a little bit more about digital forensics. It's not bad to hang with the gingers. We're always fun.
Yes, we've had a lot of fun in a couple of times where we've been able to meet. So,
Yeah.
Amber, this has been great. Epic having you on. Make sure you check out our episodes and insights from the Cybersecurity and IT Professional Podcast. My name is Rick Mishka. Stay awesome, my friends.